keep in time. Okay, so how good is that? 20 minutes, but I'll probably finish in 15 minutes. And you know what? Try content engineering with LMS. A lot of people are thinking, what is content engineering, by the way? So let me not start there. Let's talk about what? Maybe how things come together and how the convergence happens. How's that for a story? So let me go step by step with you. I'll need a lot of support from you. I hope this works. Yeah, so that's me. Like I said, I'm CEO of StatBeans, and we are based out of East Coast, and we are specialists into learning, performance support. Many products are there, and we have many delivery centers in India. But what I wanted to talk about today is from our R&D center. And some of it will try to gauge into the future, and let's see whether there's something useful today. So before I start it, let me ask you a question. I mean, let's just try to figure it. Do you agree that convergence is a force of nature right now? Is this how, do you see that happening right now? Okay, maybe not many hands out there, just a few. Let's see whether your view changes a little bit. But my proposition is, if you look at the way the data is coming together, the way communities are coming together, or how the social or mobile, all of those things we are talking about, this has definitely changed something about our demographics. Now, some of those convergences have really made huge changes, and we probably don't even notice them, that we have become so used to it. And we'll talk about some of those stories, but let me first recall about what is so well known to us. And then we'll probably explore the L&D theme about it. So you remember this device. I mean, many guys in this room might have used it. Pretty expensive one, by the way, guys. Audio delivery tool, very high charges. Then somebody plonked a camera on it. Well, you understand what happens when you do that. The camera changes the life. And then so many other things happen. This became very powerful. As you know, multimedia filters emerged, and there was processor for gaming, apps for sharing. And don't you see that this created a new revolution? And content creators are there, influencers are there, young guys are creating reels, TikToks, a lot of good content on YouTube. But while you will say, yeah, I mean, what's a big deal? We all know that. But don't you realize, about 10 years back, we were pretty comfortable without all of that. We were sort of thinking that, well, who needs all that? Maybe we were not even envisioning that. So if that's correct, then maybe even in L&D, there are certain things we are so used to. There are job roles, and there are boundaries, and people are doing well, good stuff, and we're thinking about future. So why not today take a step into L&D and try to see what could be the lofty vision which is there, possibly, and some examples, some little sprouts which are probably coming out, and I'll like to share that with you. So these are the four blocks. We'll try to uncover it brick by brick, and we will talk about, let's say, how the content production, delivery, distribution, and let's say the training, the learning paths, and curation, all of that can come together. And when I say come together, what I'm really saying is there are different job roles who are doing these things. So there's a training manager, there's an LMS admin, maybe somebody is a content creator, but these are specialized jobs. There's this boundary between them. There's a skill boundary between them. But guys, I'll have to say some things out loud so that I can hear it, how crazy it sounds, so you'll have to help me. So we'll first uncover this brick about content authoring. Everybody knows it. What's the big deal about it? There are great tools there. Everything is normal. And when we say a great tool should come in the market, the next great tool, then you'll say, oh, okay, all right, no external authoring should be required. It should be embedded into LMS. Don't you hear this already, isn't it? And but the second thing is pretty important. Let's just try to see whether you can create content influencers within the organization. Now, let me ask you one thing, and what's your reaction to this? You didn't agree to me earlier, but let's see this time if something has changed. Is it fair enough to conjecture that all the funny guys and all the creative guys who are sort of flooding all the YouTube right now, or the TikToks or whatever, they possibly don't have an advanced training in content authoring? Fair enough, isn't it? I mean, you might agree to that. And they have created a lot of good quality content. There's authoritative content. We probably start our search from that, you know. That's a go-to thing for all of us. But what's happening in your organizations? You have creative people there, but what kind of content you find there? Vendor-created content, isn't it? Pretty expensive, limited vendor-created content. You have still the smart guys within the organization. So chances are, with a little bit of love and encouragement, maybe they can come out. Some tools may help. The opportunity is there. So let's set some vision first, okay? And let's see whether we are measuring up to it. I'll keep it very quick, like I promised to you. So I'm suggesting these 3 visions for content authoring, and you can sort of add to it when I close. Maybe you can tell me what should be the other vision which I missed. But I'm just trying to say that the tools are supposed to help us. So therefore, we should have a category of knowledge influencers within the organization. We sometimes call them thought leaders, subject matter experts. You have it all over the place. But you know, can you create knowledge influencers? Influencer is an important word here. Now, the other point, this is controversial, you know, look at that. The cost of content creation should be 0. Let's start with that premise. Let's see how far we can reach there. And then the third thing is, we are pretty happy with all the engagement you get, gamification and stuff like that. But let's admit, you know, all of us are probably using just a few techniques. 5, 6 type of slide swipes, maybe double click. So what are we doing? We are engaging our fingers all right, you know, I mean, that's what is happening today. There is opportunity to do more with the technology today. So we shouldn't be satisfied with just what is given as a best gamification or engagement, whatever. And now when I say all that, is there any sense in saying it right now? So let's see some outcomes. And you can tell me whether it is matching up to some of the promises over there. But again, mind it, this is from our R&D center, so many of the tools are probably not even in the market. Though my sense is we launched this set of products, some of them in Orlando last summer. So you might have heard about some of this. Please don't look at the slide right now, just yet, okay? Look at me. Let me tell you the side story first. So what this organization did, they are a pretty well-known brand of apparel, probably the top brand of apparel, based out of US, of course. And they said, okay, let's figure out, like all the organizations are saying, what are the future skills for us? What is going to keep us competitive? What are those 5, 6 competencies? They just did that. And they said, you know what, let's just pick up 5 of them. And then they went out to the whole organization and said, you know, guys, raise hands if you want to talk about it. You know something about these specific competencies. And, well, they sort of supported the people who were raised hand. And there were about 150 odd or 200 guys who said yes. This program ran for 5, 6 months. So that's the background. And then what happened is on the slide. I'll explain it to you. So everybody more or less created like, you know, 5, 6 hours of content. Those individuals, they were from HR, operations, finance, those kind of places. Not the senior guys. I mean, they were anybody. Like, you know, it was not hierarchy driven. So they created something like a 997 hours of content. It's a lot of content. If you want to place it on an LMS, it will start overflowing. That's one thing. And that's what you're seeing in the revolutions which are happening outside. However, if somebody is good in maths, I mean, and that's where I'll leave it to you, take the minimum quote from any of the vendors who are outside today. And, you know, let them be very competitive. The most conservative number was that number, $1.87 million worth of content was created in-house in 5, 6 months. But you know, there is a lot of expensive content out there, but people are not using it. So therefore, the last part is most important. So 18% of the people, they amplified the content. They said something about it. They corrected something. They shared it. Now, what are we looking at? We are looking at engagement on a steroid, isn't it? I mean, that's the kind of culture you want. And that's the kind of saving you want, isn't it? So that's probably one part of the amplification. But let me give you a gift also. I mean, gift is merely an idea. You can take it easily. You can possibly implement it. So look at this. So this one, because I can only pick few pieces from our R&D center. So this one is a type of question answer style where the answers are not MCQs or any of that. You got to answer it, like an answer, you know, you have to say something. And this may look simple to you, But then if you have evaluators, they can figure out what's the confidence level, what's the knowledge level, and regular things that you do with the assessments anyways. But think about it. Where can you apply it? How about when you're hiring interns? Just send them something like this. You can really see them. You can feel what they're doing. Do some kind of surveys in the organization using this. This is probably not an assessment in itself. It's more like, you're bringing people and feelings together. That's just one example of how you can do this. But, I have to cover a lot of grounds, And so therefore, let's move the dimension here. Okay, so the last dimension. I promise you, just the last dimension. And again, so I'm going to combine what is called content engineering, because that was on the first slide. My marketing team wanted me to talk about it, so let's talk about it just for a bit. Okay, so let me show you a piece that they have given from the actual tool itself. What's going on here? Some of us understand what's a SCORM. Some people think it's a four-legged animal, but there are similarities. The point is it's a black box. When you publish it, it just looks like that and stays like that. And so here what they have done is, don't see too much here, just that they have opened up the analytics window and they have seen what's the content mix in that. Does it constitute 77% video, that much image and all, and they can do right clicks, you understand, and go deeper and find out anything there. What they can achieve by that is very different. The technologies could be simple, but what they can achieve is they can actually replace and augment something. You'll say, what's a big deal? And they can compress something. You'll again say, what, we know compression, what it is. So what's a big deal? So the big deal, let's first set the goal. Okay, so what could be the vision here? What could be the big deal when we go for that? So do you realize that bandwidth and cloud costs, I think they should be zero, but they are not. And there's a reason why Amazon is $1 trillion company. And you guys sometimes have that cost baked into your learning programs. And how about the other part? The e-learning content is a black box. So what happens today? Imagine in a head rush, well, let's not use that word. Imagine you launch a program today and you say, what? We'll create some fantastic content today. So the moment that content is delivered to you, the timeline stops. It's going to start aging from that day. It will not change at all. 2 years down the line, that's an outdated content. So, what can you do about it? Many times you will have some fixes, but let's just stay there. It should not get outdated. That's all I'm saying. The last thing I'm saying is that, okay, let me ask you. Do you agree that sometimes grass grows faster than the way content buffers on your mobile device? Does that happen sometimes? At least in a tier 2 city somewhere? So, that is a challenge for the L&D teams and a lot of people who are managing it. They've created something fantastic, but it doesn't run. So how about that part? Shouldn't it be working even in a low internet or no internet situation? So what are the achievements there? Let me take you there and let's see. Is it really? I haven't only 10 minutes only, man. Guys, where's your ring coming from? Okay. But I'll finish, don't worry, in 5 minutes. Yeah? Yeah. No, just to check, I haven't consumed 20 minutes. Yeah, thank you. Just some validation helps, maybe I'm wrong here. So this one, again, guys, large numbers to startle you. That's the trick of marketing, guys. But let me uncover it for you. Maybe you will agree with this. The first example, again, this company is a very large organization with a global footprint, but large presence in Seattle. You might have guessed which company we're talking about. So they had created some really good content 5 years back. Invested $3.1 million US then. Today, this is junk because, that was created 5 years back. Who uses that kind of content? No fancy, nothing. And if they wanted to create it today, they had good proposals and plans for that. Something like another $6 million, if you want to redo it and all that. So they spent only $25,000 US, and this all content is live again in a new contemporary way. And how does it look like today? I might be able to show you some bit of that. But just look at the economics here. Some of us are cost center heads, so we will understand what's going on here. The second point is even more trivial. This is, so what they did, the second point is very interesting. So they just took this large organization, they took 5 popular content, like 5 of the items which are really hit a lot. And you understand how the content is consumed. So if you multiply the size of those modules, those 5 modules, with the number of people who hit it, that's the kind of bandwidth you're using. So they said, let's just cut it down anyways. Let's just compress it anyways, without loss of any quality or whatever. When they did that, that is their quarterly budget for a special initiative that they run for the frontline sales staff. So this sort of recovered that cost in the cloud saving, and you should be doing it. I mean, you're just not looking at it. Probably you're not asking what kind of expense is going there. And this last example over here, there were 2 new mobile first programs launched for an organization in Philly. And they, again, they were a manufacturing organization, so they revamped the content, resized and all of that. How did they do is, close to magic, but let me give you a gift here. Again, like you see, I'm so generous with gifts here. Another idea for you, and this you can immediately utilize. So organizations, what they're doing with content engineering technology, they're possibly compressing it, but then also they are stapling QR codes and AR codes on the older content. So what the technology can do for you is when you analyze the SCOM, so it's like this. Imagine you take away the last slide, plaster it back in with a QR code this time. Then what will happen? Imagine you are having a dealer event this month, and then somebody scans it. They will see, in this example up top, you see that there is an induction motor which is plastered on some old content which is in the background. I hope you can relate to that. Now, with the additional information that you can transfer to the content that you already created long back, you can really get some little bit of currency right now. And then you can replace the older videos, older images and all that. QR code you can staple. So these things you can try. And when you want to try that, we'll definitely give you a tool. Right now, it's in beta program, so you can really get a lot of licenses free of cost, lifetime free kind of licenses. So definitely, this is the last slide then. So let me try and summarize, and let's just see whether did we have a moment where we could find something new, interesting. And so what we are trying to say is that the content engineering LMS that are now, they are not the outdated technology. They are having some kind of a novelty built into them, where just like a smartphone has all the features of a regular phone, they have all the, the first bullet is about that. They have all the features of a regular LMS, but you can also do content authoring, and you can have dynamic adjusting of the content. You can make your subject matters influencers. I mean, that's a big deal here. That's a big promise, and definitely it is done. If it is done, then that's great for the organization. And then the content engineering capability, that gives you the capability to analyze, let's say your CEO has changed. So there was a video of CEO in that content. You can change it with a new video without needing the SCOM content to be published back by your vendors or needing the source code. Many times the source files are missing. You can still work with that. How good is that? Because if you don't have source file, you have to publish it again. And then lastly, there are many additional capabilities, like, I'm not going to talk in detail about them. There are performance support modules, but today's theme was not that. So guys, feel free to walk into the gamification arena, which is created outside on your left as you step out the gate, and maybe enjoy the experience there. And it's not going to be bad to win maybe a Starbucks voucher as well. But more important than that, please connect with us later on. If you have some thoughts on the technology, like I said, if you want to add something that our R&D team should look at, then definitely I'll like to do that. Thanks a lot. If the time permits and if there are questions, we can handle it. Otherwise, we are available here anyways. So the organizations, do we have time for one question maybe? Yeah? But more than that, is there a question? Possibly? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for the all information. I want to know, like, if I write content, can I give it to you and you can slightly improve it and then it can be put on the net?
Yes. I mean, when you say that, you're looking at a professional service to do that.
I'm talking of professional content only, like HR and others.
You're right. You're right. I was saying you're looking at a professional service to be given to you so that somebody can look at your content, change it, improve it,
Yeah,
enhance
a
it.
little bit improvement if required.
Yeah.
If it is content is
Yeah.
thoroughly okay, and you can put it in the system.
Yeah, we do that. Many times it's under what's called refactoring programs for the old content. And yeah, we'd like to talk to you. Let's talk and see whether we can help you.
Okay.
Whether it is cost effective to you, whether it adds a value, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot. Great question there. Yeah, okay.
So just want to find out, how does this technology work? Is the AR creation tool set available within your LMS, that one can use the tools within your LMS to do that? Or will that have to be created from outside? And my second question is, if we are embedding the QR codes at the back of each course, then that would require the course to be republished again. What is your view on how you've handled it?
Okay.
Working with legacy content.
Okay, so first part of the question, that is there an AR signature creation capability within the LMS? No, we are not trying to do that. So what we are trying to do is, imagine you use Zapper, you use Layer or any other vendors that you have who are creating something. What they will need from you is, they'll say, look at this slide. Can you give me that slide? They'll say. So through the tool you can pluck it out, and then you can stamp with that, that AR code that you want to do, or you replaced image that you want to plonk back. And then second question is really very important that you asked. Do I have to republish it? No, you don't have to republish it. That's where the wonder is. Because many times you may not even have the tool available to republish it. So it just works on the publish SCOM, and it can do with the publish SCOM. So it's like, our idea here is that, you can see whichever is your most favorite PowerPoint today, whatever you use in your organization for whatever purpose. And that PowerPoint is probably an older PowerPoint, renewed many times. And today it is talking sense. So that's what we're trying to do. So you want to add AR signature, you will be able to do that. We don't create AR signatures. Definitely we want to clear that air for that. Yeah. And of course, anything else like QR code, you want to change this video, this logo which is older, all those you can do. You want to compress this part, just this video which is very heavy and making it a monster, this is COM, so you can do that. So, yeah.
Okay, quick follow-up on that.
Okay.
So you mentioned that the course don't need to get republished, and these are typical SCOM-based courses done by a vendor outside and then taken inside the LMS. So does the LMS have the capability to add, let's say, an end screen where this QR,
Yeah,
I mean, how is it you are implementing this?
Well, I think the best way is to show it to you. But yeah, I mean, all those things that you're asking, that is the idea to do about it. What you are saying is that, I may do more things. I may want to change more slides, add something. But, we are really not trying to say that you want to do too much heavy lifting. If you're going to change everything, then I think the best way is to recreate it. But if you are changing just a little and things can improve, and that little could be like 30%, then that's a great way to go about it. Yeah, I want to make it truthful also. So I'm not going to say that you should apply it always. Yeah, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, organizers. Thank you very much.